Hey everybody, Lamar back, and today we're going to be going over a full in-depth review of Kendrick Lamar's new surprise album, GNX. If you don't know, GNX is a reference to the car on the cover of the album cover, and also in the music video for Squabble Up. Briefly, I'm pretty sure it's a GNX in the music video, yeah. And GNXs are a very rare car. There's only a few hundred in existence. So this album is, with that and with the titling and with that in mind, this album is very much like a type of flex album where he's like taking victory laps for his great year for winning the diss of him versus Drake. I know a lot of people are still kind of up in the air about, whether he won that or not, but generally, Not Like Us is one of the biggest songs of the year in rap. So I would say, yeah, he definitely won. He definitely won the rap beef there. And going into this album, you can definitely see how he's making his victory laps and really riding it out. We start out with whacked out murals with this Spanish orchestral build-up in the first 30 seconds to minute. Really good. Kendrick comes in on 3 verses on this song. Really dense song for someone who said in the second verse where he's like, this album isn't for lyricists. So that's what I kind of go with the vibe with this album of like, the more I listen to it, the more I go into it with the vibe of this isn't an album to like really see through and dissect and go in the lyrics over and over and over. This is just a ride out, great like West Coast beats, West Coast rap beats and rap lyrics and rap flow. He has a bit of a strange voice in the first like 2 or 3 songs in the album, I would say. Took me a bit of an adjustment, but generally nothing too unsimilar from what he's done on previous albums or previous songs. If you like the flow of Not Like Us and some of his songs he dropped earlier this year, like the tracks we dropped earlier this year, you would like this. Yeah, especially this first song though almost stood out to me. I think maybe it's just my wife mentioning that he had a point where he really his inflection really kind of came out where he's like the pyramids, very like kind of baby talky voice in some moments. But generally, he's just been doing this. I like people who have really animated voices, so I like it. I like how he's been using the animation of his voice to give different inflections and different moods in each song. Whacked Out Murals, I didn't know the concept or why the song was named this until I just looked it up through Genius for this review. And looking at how he had a mural like drawn of him or painted of him or spray painted of him, and it was vandalized by somebody either siding with OVO or siding with Drake or friends with Drake or whatever. They heavily vandalized it. So the person who made the art piece talked about how they were like, I'm a little sad it got vandalized. I want to go fix it, but it just kept getting worse. But I am really happy that Kendrick immortalized it by making a song about it, which I really appreciate, really like. I like that he's so tapped into the community, that he's been paying attention to things like this. But generally, this is a long intro. It's about 5 minutes, like 5.5 minutes. So it is a long rap song, but the build on it is incredible. One of the best builds of this year, one of the best rap songs this year to me. I think it really, really pays off in the way it builds. Every time I go back to listen to the album, the opening track is one of the best songs on the album. And that leads into Squabble Up, which is a good, just kind of dancey party cut. One that's more just straight up on the West Coast flow of it, of him really riding the beat and kind of making a bit of a party, like house party song. The chorus, a chorus that sticks with the title of the track also sticks in your head a lot, because every time I think of it now, I'm just like, squabble up, like just like dancing in my head, and sometimes in my car when I hear it come on. This is a good shorter track to balance out the first track. It's roughly about 3 or 4 minutes long. I think that's a genius idea to balance out a long song intro. I think most albums that do that are really great to me because it balances out a really ambitious, hefty intro. Next we have Luther, which kind of slows down the track listing a little bit. I'm pretty sure this is the one that gets more in like the R&B bag. Yeah, I just went over to listen to it real quick to remind myself to make sure. And yeah, Luther is like the first more slow down R&B love songy type cut on the album. The surprise SZA feature was a beautiful, gorgeous feature to kind of stumble across. I'm a huge SZA fan, have been for years. So hearing her in the song was gorgeous. I think this was a good slowdown after our like big party song, and then it really rebalances out with Man at the Garden. This is a strange song and probably one of the most lyrically and like emotionally dense on the album of other songs so far. I will be real in saying that generally this one I don't understand as much so far. He's generally talking about how he's like, I can't withhold myself from enjoying the good things and enjoying what I built up to get here, because I, like in the chorus, keeps repeating, I deserve it all. I deserve it all. I deserve to be here. I put in the work. I put in the effort. I put in the amount of time. So I shouldn't be hard on myself. I do deserve it. which I think is, you know, generally when he's talking about things in the song, it's one of the big dividers of topic-wise, people flexing sometimes to me, is that justifying why they need that level of wealth or luxuriousness. And still there are parts of this album where he's like, I'm flying a private jet, got a big house, all that. I'm like, I don't really feel like everybody, you know, or even maybe just specifically you, deserve a big house, a big jet, or whatever. But I do generally think people deserve housing and healthcare and steady income for food and things like that. So for the basics, I agree with. There's things in the song that are the first things that kind of break me away from the album, where I'm like, you know, do you really deserve like a really huge mansion and stuff? I give Kendrick a little bit more leeway on things like this because I know he's been out here for the community, like supporting the community. I've seen him make big donations and be out there for protests with Black Lives Matter and be out there with the community for big events when the community needs it. So generally I give him more of a pass on things like this, because while he's still living in like kind of the 1%, like 10% of wealthy people in the world, famous pop stars or famous rap stars or artists, or, you know, generally wealthier than the common person probably watching this video. Generally I give him more leeway because I know he's been so active in the community that he's been giving back. He still hoards a bit of a dragon's hoard, but still gives back, which, you know, if you have a balance, I respect it more to me. But then we get into Hey Now, which is another kind of really bouncy party cut. Hey Now, Say Now, another one that kind of implements the chorus into it and kind of reminds you that, you know, we're still trying to have fun here. This is a less dense album. Then we get into Reincarnated. This album just flows by so quick, so fast. It's about 40 minutes long, which is probably one of the shorter ends of his album's drops, which I like. You know, having a good flowing, smooth West Coast ride out beat album, I think was really nice from Kendrick. It's a good, just the common person kind of pick it up and not be too heady about it. You know, there are still kind of jabs in here and out about the Drake beef, not directly stating his name, but being like, I want it. I'm coming at this with even more hate now, which is crazy. People have been talking about how they're like, yeah, it's crazy that Kendrick went to therapy and came back even more hateful. Like, I had a therapy album with Mr. Morale and the Big Stepper, and now he's come back with even more aggression. Like there's parts of this album I mentioned in my Friday wrap-up recently where he's like, do as I say, not as I do, about how he's like, you should forgive people, you should try to move on, but I still hate Drake, and I'm still gonna go after him, and I'm still doubling down on what I said about him. And I'm like, damn, you know, I appreciate the upfrontness about this and how you feel about this. But Reincarnated is one of the top tracks a lot of people talk about for their favorite track off this album. I have to say, so far I agree. Next to Hey Now and Squabble Up and TV Off, this is probably one of my favorite tracks on the album. Reincarnated really comes in with the DMX energy, that really raspy, rough voice, and he's like Reincarnated, and I really like that. I really like the energy he's bringing in this one, where he's like keeping the energy flowing off of Hey Now. After that slowdown on Luther and Man at the Garden, we just kind of keep going with that fast, aggressive DMX energy and Reincarnated. The topic in this one is interesting, where he's talking about, I did past life regression the past few years or two, and kind of saw my past lives. I don't typically know how much I believe in things like that, but I will respect anybody who ever brings it up, you know. And generally, with things he talks about in the song, I'm like, you know, if this feel like this helps you and something that's helped you grow, I respect it. And you seem like you brought that energy really well to this song, so I really appreciate the outcome we got out of it. You know, if this is one of the outcomes you got out of doing things like that. But then we keep riding out to TV Off. This is the one that has probably my favorite beat switch on the album. I think it's one of the only ones that has a beat switch on the album, I'm pretty sure. Just a snap beat switch at the first minute and a half, 2 minute mark. But generally, I really like this song. This was another incredible kind of, the first minute and a half was a little slower than the rest of the tracks so far in this little flow out. But by the time it hits the second half, where he's like, turn the TV off, it really brings the energy back in. Nothing too dense generally on the album so far for like lyric wise, at least what I've caught. I'm only on my third listen, so if I haven't caught something by now, it's probably just buried enough where I might catch it in a future listen. But I think I've got the gist of the topics of most of the songs, you know, when I've been listening to, and nothing too dense where like I'm thinking of it through this review. I do really like the energy he's still bringing by the time it's the second half, and he's like, Mustard! You really like the yell out, like hyping up because DJ Mustard made the beat for Not Like Us, so it really kind of propelled him in the second half of his career to where he is now with that song and with this album now, because pretty sure DJ Mustard made a few of the beats on this album as well, if not all of them. I'll have to look that up later. But yeah, I see him on the production credits here. He Mustard, Jack Antonoff are two of the biggest producers I know that are on this album. So, yeah, that's really cool to see him still working together and really kind of keep boosting them up. By the second half of this album, though, when it starts dropping off a little bit for me, I like Dodger Blue. Don't have a lot to say about this one. It kind of just keeps riding out for me, and not a lot in depth I'm seeing on this one. I didn't know Roddy Ricch was on this song, so that's a pretty cool surprise feature. And Ink, I believe used to go by Kid Ink. But we have two at the very tail end of this album I don't like, just straight up do not like. And one of the two is Peekaboo, the next song. I don't like choruses. They're really repetitive, and you'll figure this out about me if you follow the channel for a while. So choruses they're really repetitive, like this chorus where it's just like peekaboo, peekaboo, peekaboo. It just burns it out for me because it's too much repetition. It's too much for me to find that in-depth enjoyment in it. The verses are good, but I don't like the chorus, and the chorus is a big part of the song for me for revisibility. The Heart Part 6 is incredible, though. I generally think making the Heart Part 6 before the end of the year, or at least, it was a good move because Drake made a song called The Heart Part 6 dissing him. So kind of reclaiming that and taking that back. And especially with a song that was this good, kind of giving the history of him and J-Rock and Absol and Schoolboy Q and how they all came to be the artists they are. The really gorgeous, beautiful chorus we get out of this with the singing chorus by SWV and Coco. I don't know either of these artists, but they're gorgeous singers, and I really like the story-based track we have here near the end of the album, talking about how them as artists got to where they are now, and how apparently Schoolboy Q wasn't really a rapper until he kind of got around his crew, and they kind of convinced him to get into it, and how everybody in the crew was like, Kendrick, you're going to be the one to watch. We really are going to boost you up. We really think you're going to be the one. And it's really cool to see them where they are now, and that effort and that time all paid off with Top Dog. What I haven't mentioned so far is interesting is this is the first album not under TDE Records. So Kendrick is now releasing music not under TDE. So I'm interested to see how his style continues to kind of be this way and be in a different direction outside of TDE. So it's interesting to kind of see this being his debut outside of that record label. But next, we get in the second song on the album I just straight up do not like, and that's the title track, GNX. And I hate to say this because it is the title track, but the beat on this whole song is like a Blueface flow. It's like a Blueface beat. I would say less Blueface flow, but Blueface beat where it's like everybody's like off beat the whole song. Generally, I like the verses, but if they would just like either mixed it differently or I don't know, just a different beat in general. I can tell this is the one that maybe just isn't meant for me or something, but I just do not like this song. I enjoy the posse cut energy of it, where like sometimes I'm not going to skip it, but generally in the first 2 or 3 listens I've had right now, I'm like getting halfway through and I'm like, this just grates my ears a little bit in a way I do not like. But we do pick it up really fastly with Gloria, the final track. Really gorgeous outro. SZA back on the cut again. SZA killing it again. I like the intersection interlude she does near the end where she's like, bitch, I made you. I'm the one. I gave you the light. Like, she's like, they're like kind of going over a relationship song about how Kendrick's like talking about his partner and the history of him and how they came to meet and how they've still been together over the years, and they met in high school apparently and things like that. And I think it's interesting to also kind of give this as a response to Drake talking about his partner and talking about their love life and his disses and stuff, where he's like, I will just be outright and blunt that, yes, we may have had issues over the years, but we still love and respect each other. And at this point in my life, I doubt that she would do anything to betray me or, stand against me, which I think is really sweet that he has enough faith in her to be like, I'll make a cut about this, talking about how regardless of all the drama and the rumors this year, the disses, that he stands by his partner. And I think that's really cute and sweet. But generally, this is going to be a bit of a shorter listen, a shorter review, because I don't have a lot in depth to say on these tracks, at least like lyric dissection like a lot of people do. This has just been a really flowy, really smooth listen to me. And I'm probably going to be listening to it again the next few days while I'm celebrating Thanksgiving. So I'll put this out by the end of the day, kind of give my initial thoughts, my second listen on the Kendrick Lamar album. It was incredible to me. I would say the genre of this album would be like rap. Yeah, it has some Spanish flair for the instrumental and interludes here and there, especially the intro I can think of, and like 2 or 3 other songs to kind of implement that Spanish guitar and Spanish singing, Spanish flair to the album. Really like that. I really like the West Coast beats, kind of old school ride out beats to this album. I really like how it gets a bit electronic and weird in some moments, weirder than some other bigger rap albums that have come out the past few years. And I think generally if you're a rap fan, you'll like this album. This is definitely less on rap pop on some of the older albums or tracks he's done. This is just more straight rap. Like, you know, if you're not a fan of the more gritty side of rap and how people talk about things, then you might not be a fan of this album. It's not like pop rap like Lil Nas X or other people I've talked about on this channel before. So generally it's a little more gritty than that in the topic, and sometimes in the beats, like GNX. You know, that's more like a riding around in your car with the boys, like just blaring this song. But generally, you know, this is less on the pop rap and more just straight rap, gritty rap side. I would say even more similar to like what I talked about, like West Side Gun, you know, on this channel before. More similar to that, probably. But that's my review, Kelpies. If you're returning to the channel, thank you so much for sticking around and subscribing. Remember to like and comment on this video what you think of this album, or what you've been listening to, or what you want me to review. If you're new to the channel, I don't know why I didn't say this before. I might cut this earlier in the video, but welcome. My name is Nightmare on Kelp Street. I cover newer music. Generally, I'll cover album suggestions, whether it be through shorts or comments. I'll cover them through the comments, whether it be through shorts or main channel videos, is what I meant to say. But yeah, I'm Nightmare on Kelp Street. Remember to like, comment, subscribe in this video, and I'll be around for more. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.